Cloud. Perfect. Everything is on. So, welcome, ladies. I don't know if you're watching from Zoom or from YouTube, but I just want to say thank you for being here. And while we start, while some people still are getting in their rooms in YouTube or in Zoom, you can tell me where you come from, if this is your first play shop or program or anything, any activity with me, if you just met me or if you've been around for a while, just so I know a bit more about you. And you can also tell me from where you come, if you are dating right now, if you are single, if you are divorced, even married, whatever it is for you. While we wait a little bit more, especially for YouTube, for the delay. And just so you know, you can use the chat anytime. And not the audio and the video, because first I will be explaining and then I will be opening at the end, so for some questions or some things that may arise. But during the whole time, you can use the chat, and I will recommend that when I'm saying, for example, repeat with me, I am embodied and I am safe, for example, that you write it in the chat so that you participate more, and then these things go deep into your brain if you participate more. And other than that, we can start for today. We'll just check everywhere. Perfect. So, ladies, today we go deep into the emotional states that shape your dating life. This is the topic for today. And before we begin, I want you to take a breath, deep breath, and I want you to notice something. This is not day one of the play shop, which was last week. This is also not day 2, which was also last week. This is the bonus day. And bonus days are different because today is not about giving you more information. Today is about helping you see something that is usually invisible, something that quietly shapes your dating life more than you may be aware of and more than you want for sure, because this affects your choices, your attraction, your standards, your ability to receive, and even the type of men you feel drawn to. And that is your emotional state. And this is the work we have for today. It's different from day 1 and day 2. If you were not there, you can watch the replay. But if you were there, you will also notice how it connects with the topic of today and how it will be like a full series connecting everything together. And you will connect the dots. And immediately, if you repeat the exercises that we did day 1, day 2, and what we will do day 3, you will see how this will change your aura, your emotional state, your awareness around your dating lifestyle right now. So yes, today we talk about emotional states and why. Because your dating life is not only shaped by the men you meet, and this is a mistake I see in a lot of women in the program or in a lot of women with whom I talk after the play shops. Usually I have some little conversations here and there, and there's a lot of blaming around men, and I can understand the bad experiences, the bad relationships or bad marriages in the past. I can understand. But this is not only shaped by the men that you had in your past or the men you are meeting today. It is also not only shaped by your love list. For sure, if you've been here before, you know the concept of love list. If not, let me know and I give a little introduction. But it's not the only way that we can shape our dating. And it is also not only shaped by your standards. Of course, standards are important and we talk about it here a lot, but there is much more. The emotional state that your nervous system is living in right now, and most of the times, is affecting a lot. And this is something that most high achieving women, like women like you and me, who like to to do things, who are driven, who are multi-passionate most of the times, who want to achieve a lot of things here and there. It doesn't have to be in your work. You could be a stay-at-home mom, but you put all your effort in the education of your kids, or maybe you volunteer somewhere. Whatever it is, whatever we do, we are high achieving in our careers or in our housewife life or with volunteering or in our communities, whatever. And this is something that sometimes, and most often, more often than we want to, we need to work on the emotional state in our nervous system. Because on the outside, you may be successful, educated, beautiful, deep, self aware, emotionally intelligent, capable, but sometimes in the relational field, when we are struggling in love, in dating, in the place where you desire to be chosen, cherished, provided for, protected, and loved, your body, which is a very important topic for today, how to do this mind body connection, may still be living in shame or in guilt or fear or longing, control. Control is a big one for us high achieving women. We want to control everything. It's difficult for us to delegate sometimes. And when that happens, you don't date from your worth. You date from the emotional state your body is trying to survive. So I want to share something personal with you so that you know that I've been there. I had the struggles and I did it and I overcame it, and day by day I grow, I keep growing, and I keep improving on these emotional states. Because I know this struggle with dating from the inside. There was a period in my life where, from the outside, I looked like I was doing well, capable, independent, doing the work, learning, trying to understand relationships also. But emotionally, I was not choosing from peace. I was not choosing from embodied worth. I was choosing from survival. I would see potential, connection, and even give more than I should. And I would even stay longer than I knew was right. And I didn't understand why. Because mentally, I knew better. Mentally, I had the knowledge about standards, about dating for marriage, about everything. But my body was still living in an old emotional state. And this is something I see very often in women like you and all the women joining the programs. And this is something we work with. And this is the part most women are missing. They get the information, they get all these strict rules about dating, which are useful sometimes for sure, and they know their standards, but their bodies live in fear. And if your body lives in fear, you will completely betray it. Because you can say you want marriage, but if your body is living in shame, for example, you will feel lucky for breadcrumbs, for whatever they give you. Or you can say you want a masculine provider, but if your body is living in guilt, you will feel bad receiving. How many times did this happen to you? That you felt bad receiving, even from a family member, from a friend, during a date? This happens, I know. And you can also say you want commitment, but if your body is living in scarcity, you will attach to potential, most likely. And this is why the work has to go deeper. If you know a little bit about me, you know how I went from a very abusive relationship where I almost had to sue this guy because he could not take that I was breaking up with him. He was following after me in the streets even. I was on the point to sue him, but at some point it stopped, and it was okay. And I didn't have to go through all these things. But it was really abusive relationship and it was very long. That's why, I say I've been there. It was hard for me to leave someone because I was attaching too much. I was staying too long in places where I knew I did not belong. And that's why I do this work, because I don't want this to happen to you like it happened to me. If we can avoid it or if we can stop it, maybe it happened to you already. It happened to most of us. We have very bad experiences in relationships. Sadly, most of us, we had them. But what I want is that today you make this decision to break the pattern. to really break it and start from scratch with your new dating life. So yes, going back to the topic. Today, first of all, I don't want you to judge yourself. I know you may have felt connected with what I was saying and you may feel, oh, okay, I have this issue, oh no. But I don't want you to think, oh my God, I'm doing everything wrong. No, that is not the point. The point is to see clearly. Because when you see the emotional state you are in or someone is in, this will help you also see the emotional states of someone else. You stop making it your identity. You stop saying, this is just who I am. This is just how love is for me. Maybe I'm too much. Maybe I'm not enough. Maybe I should stay single forever. Maybe men don't choose women like me. No. You begin to understand that this is a state. This is something moving through my nervous system. This is something I can meet. This is something I can release. And this is something I can rise from. And these are the sentences I want you to repeat. If you can repeat in the chat, if you can repeat to yourself, because this is important. This is something I can meet, something I can release, something I can rise from. This is what you need to take into account for today. So today, we are going to walk through several emotional states. You may know some of these from Dr. David Hawkins' work around the levels of consciousness. If this sounds familiar, or if you want to take note to check some of his books, because this work is very much inspired from this. But I don't want today to make it too intellectual. I want us to have fun and to have practical exercises. So I want you to really feel it in your dating life. Like what we do today, it is so practical that you can really feel it and apply it. Because it is one thing to say shame, guilt, fear, courage, love, and it's another thing to see, to really see, oh, this is how shame texts. This is how guilt chooses. This is how fear waits. This is how courage sets a boundary. This is how love receives. And once you see this, everything starts to make sense, really. So let's begin with the level 1, which is one of the lowest levels of consciousness. It is shame. Shame in dating. Let's begin with it. Because what shame is telling us is something is wrong with me. And we don't say when we are feeling like this, something is wrong with me. We are not saying or feeling, I made a mistake. But we are feeling, I am the mistake. And this is what being in this state of shame will bring you. Thinking that you personally are the mistake. When it's just that, okay, I made a mistake. Let's move on. So in dating, shame sounds like, why would he choose me? So usually we are saying this, why would he choose me? Maybe I'm too old. Maybe I'm not feminine enough. Maybe I am too intense. Maybe I'm too much. Maybe women like me don't get chosen. And when a woman is dating from this state, from shame, she doesn't receive attention as something natural. She receives it as proof that maybe, finally, she is enough. So she overattaches. She overexplains. She tries to be perfect desperately. She tries to be the easiest woman. She tries not to have needs. She tries not to ask for too much. She tries to be chosen by becoming less. And this is very painful because many women in shame are actually incredibly valuable. They are smart, beautiful, deep, loving, powerful. I mean, so many things I can say of these women. But in the relational field, they collapse. They forget who they are and they let a man's level of attention define their worth. So, what would shame say when it's in a dating situation? So, your inner shame would say, if he chooses me, I am worthy. But the truth is, you are worthy before he chooses you. And only from that place, you can choose him clearly. So this is something we will work later in the practical exercise. So if you feel like shame is one of your biggest states that you approach dating with, let me know in the chat or in the comments in YouTube, because then we can focus a bit more on it when I know most of you where you are more focused or where you are feeling like you are more in the specific state. So if shame feels like you, let me know. And also just take into account that these are levels of consciousness that vary, they come and go. So maybe some days you feel in shame, some days you feel in guilt, some days you are feeling in pure love. So this is something we will work with so that then the majority of the time you can be in the level of consciousness that is more appropriate for dating for marriage. And you can stop being in shame 80% of the time, for example. So level number 2 is guilt. So guilt in dating. Guilt is usually saying, I don't want to disappoint. So basically, guilt doesn't want to disappoint anyone. And it's very common in women who are kind, empathic, emotionally intelligent, and used to being responsible for everyone's feelings. In dating, it would sound like, for example, I don't want to hurt him. He's a good guy. He's trying. This is when we are giving a million opportunities to someone. Let it be in your dating, in your relationships, or maybe it is with your family or with your friends, because usually what we do in dating, we do in other relationships. So it's something, even if we are not dating yet, or we are not even thinking about it, we can observe this very often in all other relationships. At work, many of the conversations I have with some of you is like, oh, I could apply this for my work because at work I had this person and I was applying this, and because this is, in the end, it is relationships, is how we relate to others. So yes, another way that it sounds is maybe I should give him another chance. Like I was saying, a million opportunities. Or I feel bad saying no. I feel bad having standards. I feel bad receiving too much. Do you feel like that sometimes? And guilt is tricky because it can disguise itself as kindness. But sometimes what you call kindness is actually self-abandonment, really big self-abandonment. And guilt makes you stay in conversations that you don't want. It makes you keep replying. It makes you over-explain your no. It makes you lower your standard because you don't want to seem demanding. It even makes you carry emotional responsibility that is not yours. From others, from your in-laws, from people who are very far from you. And many high-achieving women are very used to this. You are used to holding, managing, organizing, understanding, making things easier for everyone. But in dating, this becomes dangerous because guilt makes you mother a man instead of letting him meet you. Guilt makes you manage his feelings instead of honoring your truth. And a woman who is living in guilt cannot fully receive, because receiving requires allowing someone else to carry their part. Now, if you feel like guilt is your main emotion when it comes to dating, let me know in the chats so I can take it into account for the next practical exercise, which will be in around 7 minutes. So, level 3. Now we jump to fear. And fear is a big one for us high achieving women. When we have fear, what would we say when we are in fear in dating? We would say things like, what if I lose this? What if he leaves? What if I don't find someone better? What if I am too late? Oh, this is a big one for us ladies in our 30s or even 40s. What if I'm too late? This is a common thought we have sometimes. Another one, what if I miss my chance? What if I'm being too picky? What if I ask for too much and he disappears? So yeah, fear creates urgency. And urgency makes you attach to things before they have proven themselves. And this is where women accept inconsistency. Mixed signals, hot and cold, almost commitment, beautiful words without grounded real action. Potential without structure, and again, not because you are not smart, not because you don't see it, but because fear makes the body search for safety outside of itself. Fear tells you, if I can just make him stay, I'll feel safe. If I can just understand what he means, I'll feel safe. If I can just get the next message, I'll feel safe. Like this constant light we are following, and we cannot get it. But the work, the real work is, can I create safety inside myself before I try to get it from him? Because when your body is in fear, you don't observe reality in the same way. You scan for reassurance everywhere. And that is very different and very dangerous, especially in dating. So let me know in the chat if fear is one of your most common emotional states that you approach dating with. Let's go now to the level 4. We are getting higher in the levels of consciousness. So we go to desire. And how does it look, desire, in dating? It's like when something starts to shift. We move into desire, and desire is powerful. Let me tell you, it is very powerful. Desire says, I want more. And this is where many of you are right now. I know because when I talk to you or the ladies that join the program, they tell me, Angela, I feel like I'm in desire 80% of the time. And you know you desire more, you desire marriage, you desire provision, you desire emotional safety, you desire masculine presence, you desire a man who is clear, someone who is cherishing you. You desire to be held even a relationship where you don't have to perform at all and that is leading you to marriage as soon as possible. And yes, desire is beautiful. Desire is often the beginning of awakening. Most of the times it's a real good beginning. But desire alone is not enough, because if desire is not grounded, it can become longing. And sometimes we get distracted by many desires. It's very difficult for us sometimes to balance work, family, our career, our love life. Is very difficult and we get distracted sometimes. So we need to focus on one thing at a time, one goal at a time, and then the others will appear. I promise you, if you really focus in getting the big goal that you have right now, the biggest desire, this one will come. You work for it. You do your part. You heal. You do all the work, and then the other parts will start arising. But this also takes time. This is a different exercise. Probably we will do it in the next play shop next week. Okay, but for today, just keep in mind that desires, if they are not grounded, they can become a longing and you never have it, and then you can never get it, and it can become fantasy. And fantasy can become really attachment. Attachment to what? To potential of the man you meet. So the question for today and for desire is not only what do I desire? The question is, can my body hold the desire without collapsing into urgency? Can I desire marriage and still date from peace? Can I desire love and still see reality? This is important. Can I desire a provider man and still not abandon myself for the first man who offers masculine energy? And this is where desire needs high regulation. Because desire is the door, but embodiment is what allows you to walk through it completely and open and ready for it. So let me know if you are more in the desire states. This would be a good sign, actually. So I hope I read a lot of desire. We go now to level number 5, courage. Courage in dating. Courage would say to us, I am willing to choose differently. And this is where your dating life really begins to change. Not because everything feels easy, let's say, but because you stop betraying yourself. Courage is when you say, I like him, but this is not aligned. I feel chemistry, but I need consistency. I want marriage, so I cannot keep entertaining ambiguity. Or you say, I care about him, but I cannot build a relationship alone. I'm willing to walk away from potential, even if it feels uncomfortable in the moment. So, courage basically is the moment you stop negotiating with your standards. And it doesn't always feel soft, it doesn't always feel romantic, not at all. Sometimes courage feels like grief. We need to come to peace with our grief. Because you are releasing a fantasy, a potential, attachment to potential. And sometimes courage feels like fear because your body is not used to choosing differently. And it's not used to choosing yourself also. But courage is where self-respect becomes stronger than attachment. And that is a very important part here. So I hope some of you are dating for courage. From courage, let me know, because that would be amazing. That would be your next level. And let's go now to level 6. Okay, we're just a few minutes away from the practical exercise where we will put all of this into practice. So you can elevate your consciousness, your energy when dating now, as soon as possible. So level 6 would be neutrality. We move into neutrality, and neutrality, let me tell you, is very powerful in dating. It says, I don't need to force this. I don't need to chase. I don't need to convince. I don't need to make him ready. I don't need to interpret everything. I can observe. I can enjoy. I can receive. And I can let reality reveal itself. And this is the state where dating becomes much clearer. Because when you are neutral, you are not cold, you are not close, you are not bitter, you are simply not desperate. You are open but not attached. You are receptive but not passive. You are feminine but not completely collapsed. And this is the state where men reveal themselves because you are no longer performing. You are no longer managing. You are no longer trying to control the outcome. You are simply present. And presence is magnetic and is your best tool in dating. Okay, let me know if you are dating from neutrality, because this would be amazing too. Level number 7, finally, love. Love in dating. Not romantic fantasy, not obsession, not anxiety, not intensity. Love. And love says, I trust my body. I trust my standards. I trust my timing. I trust that what is aligned for me will not require me to abandon myself. Love is where you can receive without suspicion, where you can open without losing yourself, where you can be soft without becoming weak, where you can desire real marriage without dating from panic, where you can want a man without needing him to regulate your worth. And this is what I want you to understand. You don't have to live in love every second of every day. That is not realistic. You are human. You will feel fear, sadness, shame sometimes. Contraction, you will feel contracted, but your baseline matters. The emotional state you return to most often matters, because if your nervous system lives in shame, guilt, and fear most of the time, then even when a good man appears, you may not be able to receive him. You may distrust him, you may test him, you may overgive, you may attach too quickly, you may sabotage the connection accidentally. Not because you don't want love, but because your body does not yet feel safe in love. And this is why the work is not to pretend you are always in love. The work is to raise your emotional baseline, to spend less time in shame, less time in guilt, in fear, and more time in courage, neutrality, acceptance, love, and embodied trust. So I want you to check in, and you can write this down if you like, because soon we start the practical exercise, and this is important. When it comes to dating, where do you spend most of your time? Is it shame? Like there is something wrong with me? Is it guilt? Like I don't want to disappoint? Is it fear? Like what if I lose him? Is it longing? I want this so much that I start creating fantasy. Maybe courage. I'm ready to choose differently. Neutrality. I can observe without forcing. Is it love? I trust myself and I allow what is aligned to come closer. Just notice, no judgment. Just if you have your notebook, write it down. Or if you want to write it in the chat, also. Because the moment you see the state, you begin to separate from it. And once you separate from it, you can release it, like calmly release it and let it go. And this is where letting go becomes so powerful. Because most women try to change their dating life by controlling behavior. Don't text him, don't chase, don't overgive, don't attach, like putting strict rules that most of the times we cannot meet. And yes, behavior matters a lot. We teach that in many playshops, in many programs, for sure. But the behavior is often just the surface. Underneath the behavior, there is a feeling. The urge to text is a feeling. The urge to chase is a feeling. The urge to over-explain is a feeling. The urge to wait is also a feeling. All of them are a feeling. When you lower your standards, it's also a feeling. And when the feeling is no longer controlling you, the behavior changes naturally. And this is why we don't just force ourselves to act differently. We learn to release the emotional state underneath. So now we're gonna do the letting go exercise. Okay, this is a reduced version for the play shops that I have. Of course, in my programs, we do the full length version, which is, of course, more powerful. But even with the little time we have, I want you to really experiencing and start experiencing the letting go practice because it's really good and it will help you be more detached and feel more free and feel encouraged and in love when you are dating. So for this exercise, we will need to close our eyes if you can, if you are relaxed at home and you can do it. I want you to sit straight and comfortable, or if you can lie down, you can also lie down. Have always some notebook next to you in case you want to take note of some feeling. And this will be just a guided exercise through something simple. Not long, not complicated, just enough for you to begin feeling the difference. So let's start with taking a slow breath with our eyes closed. We focus on the air going in and out through our nose. We bring our attention into our body. Notice your chest, your stomach, your throat, your jaw, your shoulders. And now I want you to bring to mind your dating life. Just let it pass, let it go through your mind, the thoughts appear. When you think about dating life, what appears? Let it take there. Give it a few minutes to really sink down in you, really feel it. Not one specific mom necessarily, just the emotional field of love. Feel it there. Take some notes if you wish. For example, for me, some notes are appearing. Every time when you do the exercise, different things may appear. Just take note. Feel it there. Keep focusing on the air coming in through your nose and out. Do you feel something in your body? Is it something coming to you? Maybe some pain somewhere? Or some joy in some part of your body? Some special feeling? Just observe it. You can write it down if you want. Really deeply. Think about marriage, commitment, being chosen. What is arising in you, in your body? Focus also on your body. Being supported, being provided for, being seen. And notice now what state comes up first. Is it shame, guilt, fear, longing, sadness, control, maybe pressure, or maybe even some urgency? Just notice. I'll write in the chats in YouTube and in Zoom the states, okay, in case you need to see them written, if it helps. And just notice it. Don't fix it. Don't analyze it. Don't make it wrong. Just notice the state. And now ask yourself, where do I feel this in my body? Maybe in the chest, in the stomach, in the throat, in the face, in the pelvis. Maybe it feels like tightness or heat, heaviness, maybe numbness, restlessness. Whatever is there, let it be there. Now ask, am I willing to allow this feeling to be here just for this moment? Not forever, just for this moment. Allow it. Let it exist. Let it move. Let it breathe. And now, gently ask, could I let this go just a little? Not force it, not push away. Just soften around it. Without abandoning the feeling. Remember here we need to stay in the body feeling, not in the thoughts that come related to it. Could I release the need to act from this state? Could I release the need to date from this state? Could I release the need to choose from this state? Could I release the need to receive love from this state? Let it sink and take a breath. And again, could I let this go just a little more? Maybe the body feeling softens. Maybe it doesn't. All is okay. Maybe you just become more aware of it. If it's hurting, it's okay. Now I want you to imagine what it would feel like to date from a slightly higher state. Not perfect, not fully healed, just slightly higher. From shame to courage, for example. From guilt to honesty. From fear to self-trust. From longing to presence. From control to receptivity. Feel that in your body, just a little. And place one hand on your heart and say internally, I am allowed to rise. I am allowed to choose from a higher state. I am allowed to receive from a higher state. I am allowed to become safe in love. Take one more breath. And when you are ready, gently come back. You can look somewhere in the room, move your hands and feet a little bit to come back. You can take some notes like I was doing, if it was something coming up that is important. And this is where the real work begins. Not when the feeling disappears, but when the feeling stops being your identity. Because you are not shame, you are not guilt, you are not fear. You are not your dating history. You are not the man who didn't choose you. You are not the situationships, of course not. I'm not the situationships that were hurting me. I'm also not my married today. I am married, of course, but I'm also not my state, you know? I'm not, just because I'm married doesn't mean I am just a married woman. I am many things. We are whole. So if you are in a situationship today, I want you to let it go, to not feel that because you are there, that you are situationship. Because you can change and things will improve. You are also not the years that passed. You are not the old pattern. You are the woman who can notice the state. You are the observer. Like when you are on a date, you should be the observer. So meet it, release it, and rise. And this is why I keep saying dating for marriage is not just about strategy, it is about state. Because marriage requires a woman who can receive. Let me tell you, I've been married for a while now, and it requires you to be that woman who can receive, the woman who can trust, the woman who can be supported, the woman who can be seen, and a woman who can allow a man to lead. This is exactly the work we are doing. And this is the woman you need to become to be in this dating for marriage journey. Without collapsing, without controlling, without proving, and without running, of course. And that doesn't come from information alone, it comes from repetition. From practice like the practice we just did, this practice of letting go. Wonderful. If you can do it before every date or before having a call with a potential man or before going into a social event, this would be perfect because it will release these emotional states that are lower and are making it more difficult for us to continue in our dating for marriage process. It comes also from your regulation. We will talk about it. The nervous system regulation is very important. And because being in the body consistently is what it will take you to get married. When you are in your body consistently, men can feel that. And they are very driven by how you are shown emotionally more than by your words. So it's much more important how you are embodied more than what you say to them. Of course, I give you free guides and I give you words to say and ways to explain what you are doing, your dating for marriage process, of course. But it matters much more, your emotional state before a date. And this is why I want to share something new with you today. Because one of the biggest things I've learned in my own life and in working with women is that emotional state changes through repetition, not through one breakthrough one day, one exercise you do one day. It doesn't change because today you are here and you did this exercise and you enjoyed it. It doesn't change just because of one day. It changes through repetition and not through one realization. Maybe you were having a nice realization and you were writing it down or you were commenting in YouTube about the realization. That is great. That will help you a lot. But it is not everything. No, it's not one journaling prompt. Those things can open the door. So if today the door is open for you, this is the beginning. Because your nervous system learns only through repetition. And many people I know, they tell me, oh, yeah, somatic work, it didn't work for me. Yes, then I ask them, how many days were you doing that? Yeah, 2, 3 days. I had 2, 3 sessions and no more, no. Yeah, because these things, this body work through repetition. Your body needs to practice safety, to practice softness, to practice receiving. Your body needs to practice not living in survival, of course. And this is the piece that I feel many women are missing. They understand these concepts. We are high achieving women. Of course, we understand all of this. We know all of this by heart. They know they need to regulate. Yes, they know they need to embody. They know they need to be in rooms like this, in YouTube lives and Zoom lives like this, to be full of this energy of embodied women who are married or who are dating for marriage and who are in this same desire for life. They know they need to stop living from fear, yes, but then they are alone. They don't know what to do with their body. They don't know how to practice. They don't know how to create consistency. And this is why I'm opening something new today. So this will be the presentation of the Empress Body-Mind Connection Method. And what you did today is just a little thing, this letting go exercise, a little thing of what we do in my Marriage Queen program, of course. But today I'm opening a different kind of work, more body-based. And this is a life embodiment practice for the women in this community that I'm opening. So it will be open for women who are already in the Marriage Queen program, the highest program that I have right now, and which is 3 months to get the ring, to get the proposal, let's say. But this is a different work that will regulate you fully. So if you are not already there, it is very good because it will help you for the time when you are ready to join the real dating for marriage. It will make you super ready. It will make you regulated and it will help you vibrate in a higher level of consciousness. And it's also very good for the ladies who are already in Marriage Queen program because it will support them. It will give them this discipline, this keeping it consistent so that they don't stop doing the repetition work, this practice that is so important. And how often are we doing this? This is a 3 times a week meeting. You know, it's the first time I offer something that is 3 times a week, but because I want to emphasize this need for repetition. It will be Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. It will also be recorded, so you also have access recorded, but I advise as much as possible to be live. That's why they are live sessions. And they are 30 minutes only because I want it to be pure body-mind connection work. Because if we have 1 hour, this we already have in the Marriage Queen, 1 hour or more. This we already have it, and it's the way where you have a chance to talk. The moment when you can really talk and share and we interact more deeply, apart from doing all this different kind of work. It's more like talking and explaining. But this is online, simple, consistent, and body-based. We go directly, we say hello and we go straight to the body work. and it is designed to help your nervous system stop living in survival. So after a month in this program, in this membership, because this is a membership that I advise to have as many months as possible, after 1 month you stop living in survival and you start returning to softness, presence, and embodied safety. And after 2-3 months, you get the consistency, the discipline to stay there, to not abandon. You get the motivation from the other ladies and directly from myself to not stop. And this is not fitness. This is not about punishing your body. This is not about becoming smaller. This is not about performing femininity. This is about becoming safer inside yourself. Training your body to stop holding everything, to stop bracing, to stop contracting, to stop living in constant pressure, and to begin practicing. Practicing what? Regulation, breath, softness, feminine presence, body awareness, gentle movement, and hypopressive inspired core work for our feminine health is super important. And of course, somatic release and nervous system connection. This is where everything I did my whole life, the neurolinguistics programming, because I studied linguistics in university, as many of you know, the performing arts and ballerina training from since I was 7 years old, being in the dancing career, and this work as personal trainer, learning all these muscles, all these hypopressive techniques, all these good Pilates, all yoga, all these techniques that I was implementing, I'm putting it all together so that you can rise as high as possible. That's why this is important. That's why this little program, this little membership is very important for all of you who are already in some program, who are not yet. I would say this will become the basic, where everyone needs to start. And this is very personal to my work, because my background has never been only mindset. My work has always been connected to the body, because, like I said, I come from performing arts, dance, movement, embodiment, presence. And I know what it means to use the body to shift state. I know what it means to change posture, breath, movement, rhythm, and identity. And along with that, I bring nervous system work, feminine embodiment, health coaching, personal training, and the deeper emotional work that we do in Reina Interior Universe. So this method brings all of that together. The body, the mind, the nervous system, the feminine, the emotional states that we were talking today, and the way you show up in love. Because your body is not separate from your dating life. The way you breathe, the way you hold tension, the way you collapse, the way you brace, the way you disconnect from your pelvis, the way you live in your head sometimes. All of that affects how you receive love. All of that affects how safe you feel being seen. All of that affects how you respond to masculine presence. So this is where we begin to train the body differently. So inside the Empress Body-Mind Connection method, we meet live 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. 30 minutes. We come in, we regulate, we breathe, we move, we soften, we reconnect. Some practices will be more somatic. Some will be more hypopressive inspired. Some will be more feminine embodiment. Some will be focused on releasing pressure from the body. Some will be focused on posture, presence, and receptivity. And over time, your body begins to learn a new baseline. Less contraction, less pressure, less survival, more softness, more presence, more inner safety, more capacity to receive, of course. And this is for you if you know you live too much in your head. If you understand everything mentally, but your body still feels tense. You feel pressure in dating. You struggle to receive. You want to feel softer. But you don't want to become passive. You want to regulate your nervous system. but you need consistency. You want to reconnect with your body, but you don't want aggressive fitness energy. You want a practice that feels feminine, grounded, simple, and sustainable. This is also for the women who is not ready for the full mentorship yet, I must say, but she knows she needs to start somewhere. Some of you need deep transformation. That is Reina Interior Mentorship, that is our Marriage Queen program, and some of you need a consistent body-based practice to begin regulating your nervous system. And that is the Empress Body-Mind Connection Method. And I want to be very clear. This is not the same as the mentorship. The mentorship is the deeper transformation container. Yes, that is where we work through the full process. Your patterns, your relationship wounds, receiving, polarity, dating, purpose, feminine energy, and the woman you are becoming. But this Empress Body-Mind Connection method is different. It is a consistent body practice, the nervous system reset, the embodiment rhythm, the place where your body begins to practice safety 3 times a week. So there are different levels of support and both are beautiful. So next week, what do we have for next week? We have the next playshop and we are going to start experiencing parts of this together. Not only journaling, not only visualizing, not only talking. We're going to bring the body in more directly. We're going to go to the mat, we're going to move, we're going to breathe. Of course, it's a play shop. We cannot do the full body-mind connection work, but we are going to show a little bit of it so that you have a hint so that you can understand what we mean. We're going to practice regulation in a more physical way next week in the play shop. So if you've been craving something more embodied, something more practical, something where you don't just understand, but actually feel your state changing, you are going to love what we do next week. And because you are here today in this bonus session, or you are watching the replay immediately in the next few days, before I officially open this inside the next play shop next week, I want to offer you the founding member prize. Today, you can join the Empress Body-Mind Connection Method for 77 euros per month. This is around $83 right now. And this gives you access to the live practices, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 30 minutes. Somatic movement, hyperpressive inspired practice, nervous system regulation, feminine embodiment, body-mind connection, and consistent support to help your body begin shifting its emotional baseline. So next week, when I present this inside the play shop, the price will be 97 euros per month. So today is the soft opening, the founding member prize for the women who already know I need this. I need consistency. I need to come back into my body. I need to stop living in pressure. I need a practice that helps me regulate, soften, and receive. And again, I don't want you to decide from pressure. I want you to check in with your body. Does this feel supportive? Does this feel like something your nervous system has been needing? Does your body feel, yes, I need this rhythm. Yes, I need this practice. Yes, I need to stop doing everything from my head. Then this may be for you. And if you feel called to the deeper transformation, the mentorship and the immersion are also here. But this method is the entry point, the rhythm, the practice, the body connection, the consistent return to yourself. So if you want to join the Empress Body-Mind Connection method today, send me a message after this session or just write Empress in the chat. I will also put it in the chat. Just give me a second so that you have it. In case you don't even want to write me, you just want it directly and you don't want to lose this discount. Here it is in the chat. Okay, there it is. And next week, when I open it inside the playshop, it will move to 97 euros per month. So until then, you have this chance. This is my gift to the women who are here today or who are watching the replay in the next few days, who are already in the field, who are already doing the work, and who know that their body is ready for consistency. And now, I also want to have a little moment for those of you who are really interested in the big mentorship and in the retreat, because this is beautiful. But I need the Deepa container. This is not just about movement for me. This is about my relationships, my receiving, my feminine energy, my patterns, my ability to be chosen, my ability to build life and love I truly desire. And if that's you, then I want to remind you of the Deepa invitation. This is where Marriage Queen Mentorship comes in. A 12-week transformation container where we don't just practice regulation. We work through the full identity shift from survival to receiving to embodied standards to the woman who can hold the relationship, the purpose, the beauty, and the life she says she wants. And this is why I created the Marriage Queen Mentorship. It is a space where you don't just understand this work, you start living it. And this is not a course, this is where your nervous system regulates, your patterns soften, and your standards become natural. We move through your phases. Remember the phases, we have 4. Regulate, release, receive, and rise. And these 4 phases take us from survival to embodiment. So, like I always say, the investment is not $10,000-$15,000, which could be. Usually it is for this type of program. But I want to make it accessible to everyone who is really ready, even if you don't have the money now. Well, I want to have it accessible so that even if you don't have the money, you can get a little credit, so that is something you can really afford. It can also not be $500, $1,000, because then you would not take it serious, because that's how we are. Because if we have it for free or almost free, then we don't really appreciate it. That's how we are humans. The investment, the real investment for this mentorship is 2,997 euros, around $3,100, or 3 payments of 1,100 euros, around 1,000 to 300 dollars, US dollars. And there we have weekly calls, deep somatic work, feminine embodiment, and support throughout the process, which is the most important part. And now, some of you don't just need this work from home. Some of you need a space where your body can finally relax. This is where the last part, where everything integrates, where you are not holding everything and you get to be held. A space where this work moves from your mind into your body and it connects. So for a small number of women, I've opened something deeper, a life immersion in south of Spain. This is not just a retreat, it is the in-person integration of everything we do in the mentorship, in the membership, everywhere. A space where you experience being supported, being guided, being held, being in your feminine without effort. When the body experiences safety so deeply, like in this retreat, everything changes. And this includes the 12-week mentorship plus the South of Spain retreat immersion, villa, meals, sessions, and an intimate group. And the full experience is 4,500 euros or 4,350 euros paid in full, because we have a payment plan available. So if you feel called, for the ladies who join the full program before the next playshop, you will have 4 months membership for free. Membership of the Body Mind Connection program, you will have 4 months free so that you can go to the retreat fully prepared. So you will have the 3 months mentorship, Marriage Queen, plus the 4 months membership in the body-mind connection, so you have the body work full and ready, plus the retreat. If you join the full experience, which you can have a payment plan, and then it could be 4,500 euros, or you can pay in full 4,350 in both cases. If you do that before the next playshop next week, you get 4 months of the other membership for free, fully included. So when you come to the retreat, you will be the queen. You will know everything. Of course not, we will have new things for sure, but you will be super prepared. So there are two ways to enter: the online mentorship only or the full immersive experience. The online mentorship or full immersive experience with retreat. And now, for a limited period of time, you also have the 4-month membership for the Body Mind Connection program. And this is not about better or worse. Which option is better or worse? It is about what your body knows it needs. So the immersion is very small. Only 6 spots initially. For the founding members at this price will only be 6 spots. Later on I will open 2-3 more, but not more. And of course at a different price. Because this work needs depth and requires intimacy. So on the practical side, where is it? It's in Malaga, south of Spain. It's an international airport. You can come from anywhere. And when it will be? At the end of September, beginning of October. And the weather at that time is the best weather. So I chose specifically the best weather for this area. And remember, this is the founding edition, and it will never exist like this again. So if you feel called, we'll explore it together privately. No pressure, just alignment. You don't need more information. You need a space where your body feels safe enough to stop controlling and start receiving. And I want you to be very honest with yourself. How many times have you seen potential and hoped it could become alignment? How many times have you stayed just a little longer than you knew you should? And how much time do you want to lose there? If you feel called to this work, I don't want you to decide from pressure. I want you to check in with your body. Does it feel expansive? Does it feel clear? After this session, I'll open private conversations. We'll look at where you are, what you desire, what patterns are still active, and whether the online mentorship or the full immersive experience in Malaga is the right next step for you. This is not about convincing you, this is about alignment. If this is for you, your body will know. And if it is not, that is okay too. But if you know that you are ready to stop dating potential and start becoming the woman who can receive real alignment, then reach out. Use the application link and we'll explore it together. I'll copy here the application link. Just a second. So you have everything in the chat. It is a little call, okay, this application. If you are super clear, like if you want the link now, this call will not take more than 10-15 minutes. It's just for me to see that you are a good match, that you are on the same page as all of us. And on the other side, if you need more clarity, it could take 30-40 minutes, but only if you need, because from my side, I can tell in 10 minutes, very fast, I must say. So here is the application link. Wait, I did not send. Now you have it there. So yes, just remember, you don't need to become suspicious of men. You need to become deeply connected to yourself. That is what will help you. If one thing you can take from today, I would say is that. Because when you are connected to yourself, you don't need to decode everything. You see, you feel, you observe, and you choose. That is the wise queen. And that is the woman we built inside Marriage Queen, inside the immersion, inside body-mind connection. So ladies, I will give you a few minutes to see if you have some questions. I will try and read the chats, but you know the YouTube one goes a bit slow. So let's see if I manage. If not, I reply them later. in the comments, so don't worry about it. Okay, also in the chat in Zoom, you can send me some questions, or the ones who are in Zoom, you can also unmute. Okay, ladies, so I think there are no questions for now. If there are later in the comments in YouTube, I will reply, written, of course. So that is all for today. I'll see you next week in the next play shop, which is 12th and 13th of May. So it's very soon. We just have a few days. So remember to make sure to take advantage of these bonuses that you have until 12, until the day 12, when the next play shop starts, because you can have reduced price for the body mind connection and the immersion, the full immersion with 4 months of this membership included. So those are great bonus. I would say take advantage of it. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, just write me or let's connect in the application link. So ladies, I hope you have a nice day and see you very soon. Bye.